Hey there. Hi, I'm Brandon from High Anxiety. Today is a sentimental journey into some toy openings. So I got this pack, which is the most recent pack by NECA. This is the Rat King and Vernon, sorry, Rat King versus Vernon 2-pack figure from NECA. I have not really looked at this yet. I just got excited and then opened it up. Something I noticed is that the image on this is very small, very skinny, and I realized it's because this box is probably the thinnest of the boxes that I've ever seen. This is very thin. But this art is going to be different than the ones I've had in other areas. So, all right. So if you look at this, here's our in the box view. Here's our back view. I love that it has the show style with like updated, clean line work. Characters in the front. On the back, you'll see the collection. This is all stuff that I have opened on the channel, except for this pack. I don't care about that pack. MJ of Total Toy Recon says I do, and I will cave, but I won't. I won't, MJ. Not gonna do it. We have our sewer background again. It's kind of time to move on from this. All right. So in here, we have our two figures. We have Vernon, and we have the Rat King. So something to notice on the Rat King is this little thing right here, this little guy. We've got an alternate head from the episode where Rat King transformed him into a were-rat. That's pretty cool. He's got 2 rat hands, and he's got 3 human hands, which is interesting that we didn't go with 4 extra, but same thing with Rat King, actually. So we've got our belt with our canisters, our canned canisters. We've got a mutagen. We've got 3 rats. We've got his little horn, flute, rat flute. So let's open this up. I need to find a knife, and I know I just took it, so I have to look at it. So I'll be right back. All right, we have every accessory open here. So let's start with Vernon first. The first thing I saw as I opened this up is Vernon has a spot on his butt. I'm not sure what that is, but here is Vernon. The first thing I noticed also is that the tie is not attached. I figured they would just do a paint job on that. That's a really nice touch. Suspenders are raised. It's not just painted on. We've got his shoulders, or his sleeves cuffed up a little bit. We've got his watch. Nice little touch. It is, I don't know if that's going to slide. Yep, it slides, so it's actually just slid on, so I could take that off if I wanted to. Nice little tucked in action. He's got his tight pants rolled up at the bottom. He's got his nice, look at these nice lines on his shoes. I like that a lot. So one thing that I've heard about this line, Rat King in particular, is that this part, his little crotch area, is very soft and the paint flakes. So I'm going to try to move that as little as possible. So one interesting thing to note here is that the head is not attached to the neck, or the neck, the ball joint, whatever. The joint that connects his head to his body is not on his neck. The neck is actually fully attached, and that's because when you put the rat body on, the rat head on, it's got to have a hairy neck too. So I haven't seen that before, whereas the neck moves a little bit, and it moves, but it also is attached to the neck, which doesn't happen very often. See, I think the mouth opens up. It's a little tight. There we go. With the mouth opening up here. We'll put that on in a little bit. But overall, I love his face. He looks great. He looks like the weasel that he is in the show. I guess the rat would be better. which is why they put them together with the Rat King. But hairlines look good. Now, I didn't have him as a figure from the original line, so I can't directly compare the two, but I can put up a little image of that. So I do not have this one to compare, but the pink shirt's awesome. I like the two-tone. You can see the shading lines. It looks great. And these tune lines just do so much for me. They really, really do. Oh, wow. His cuff length, his shoulder cuffs rotate, which is kind of a nice touch. You can even move it around and make it work. So that's awesome. I'll take some pictures of him as the Were-Rat also. But there is Vernon. He's a very nice figure. Just going to be the victim in a lot of things. I kind of want to get a second pack of this. One for this Vernon, one for the Were-Rat. But that's going to be if I find it. I don't know if I will or not. And also, I'm more inclined to do that because the Rat King has a very special place in my heart, which I'll get to in a little bit. All right, now it is time for the Rat King. Man. So the Rat King, as you can see, is very tall. Very tall. If I put a turtle next to him, you can see there's quite a height difference. So we've got Rat King, Turtle, and Vernon. We have Vernon taller than the turtles, obviously. But compared to the Rat King, pretty large. Man, I love this scaling. That's just so great. That is so great. He is so tall. You wouldn't think that right out of the box. Alright, again, he has his two-tone. He's got his dark brown. He's got his light brown for some shading. He's got some wrappings around him. He's got his wrapping around his nose and his forehead. The wrapping goes all the way around. He's got a nice drawn line separating the hairline with the ear line. This is the loosest joint I've ever seen in a NECA figure, which is interesting. Hopefully it's okay. Usually they're pretty tight. I haven't had any tightness on these figures yet. So I've heard, yeah, you can see right there, there's some lines that are, I don't know if it's wet paint or whatever again, but I've heard this chips. So I'm going to really try to be as very, like pose it one time and kind of leave it in that pose. Yeah, look at his feet. He's got his feet wrapped. He's got some stitching all the way around it. He's got some abs. Rat King's got some abs. He tilts this way. So this is his range of movement. He doesn't rotate the hip. So this is one piece right here, and then this is a top piece up here. So that's pretty great. I like that movement. All right, so now I mentioned before that the Rat King has a special place in my heart. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute too, but let's put some of these accessories on. I'll add that. We'll do that at the end. So this is the Rat King figure from my childhood. So one interesting difference that I see off the bat that I completely forgot about is that he's got some bald spots on top of his head, whereas the cartoon Rat King does not have that. But you can see that the costume design is very similar. He's got the rats on him. He's got the unpainted rat, but he also has 3 other white rats on him. There's red eyes on the original toy, so I'm interested to see what Super 7's going to do with that. I probably will buy the Super 7 Rat King, even though I'm not buying a whole lot of Super 7 figures. But it's interesting how close they got the green color. And it's also interesting to see what they chose to paint, what they chose not to paint, like the millipede over here and the rat on him. But anyway, so these are the 2 Rat Kings. Now, I mentioned before that I had a sentimental attachment to the Rat King. So this figure right here, this is the figure that I had when I was young. And I had a very strong relationship with my great grandmother. She I don't want to get too emotional with this, but she was, from my perspective, she was a wonderful woman, and I just adored every second with her. But whenever I would go over to her house, I'd bring my Ninja Turtle figures over, and she used to put on a show, which I never understood as a child, but she used to put on a show, and every time I got this out, she would go, ah! And so I would like stick it in her face, and she would just get like, ah! So, we had, it's just so funny that I was a little kid, and I just fully believed that this toy terrified her and disgusted her, and so that was really special to me. So it was once they announced the Rat King, I had to. That was like one of my top billings, have to have. And if I didn't get it, I would have paid aftermarket prices, which I don't ever want to do. You know, I thought about it too, and I remembered I had this Leonardo here from when I did the Super 7 video, and he was shorter here too, so I'm curious to know, like, if they made the turtles short. I mean, they are definitely shorter, but are all the villains this size? I don't want to go check all that stuff, but they did make him pretty short too, or really tall compared to the Leonardo too, so that's another point. But alright, so I'm Brandon from High Anxiety. Thank you so much for watching me play with dumb toys. It is a pleasure to do this every time I get a new figure, and I truly enjoy it, and I hope you do too. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. Share it. I know it sounds dumb to share a toy video, but it would mean the world to me. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Thanks.